Hello, it's great to see you all again. In 1995, the movie Waterworld was released, offering a completely new perspective on planet Earth. The film is set in a distant future where the polar ice caps have completely melted, and the sea level has risen by over 7,600 meters, nearly covering all continents. The movie revolves around the journey of an unnamed character on his sailboat. The movie's concept is intriguing, but could Earth really become a water world like that? Earth does have a lot of water, but not enough to turn it into a planet of just oceans. 70% of the Earth's surface is covered by oceans, with an average depth of around 3.6 kilometers. If you were to take all the water on Earth from oceans, rivers, lakes, clouds, glaciers, and underground water and place it into a spherical container, that sphere would have a diameter of about 1,385 kilometers. Although that sounds big, when compared to Earth's size, this amount of water is equivalent to a thin layer, like the peel of an apple covering its surface. Even if all the ice on Earth melted, the sea level would only rise by about 70 meters. This could flood coastal cities like New York, Tokyo, and even Ho Chi Minh City. For example, a rise of just 2 meters would severely flood the Mekong Delta, an area that produces over 50% of Vietnam's rice. This wouldn't just result in economic damage, but would also threaten the livelihoods of millions of people living in that region. However, even though it could submerge many urban areas, a rise of 70 meters is still far from what is needed to cover all the continents. Another 7,530 meters of water would still be required. For Earth to become a fully submerged water world, it would need a massive cosmic disaster. We would need to bring in millions of enormous icy asteroids, each several kilometers in diameter, from the Kuiper Belt beyond Neptune. However, each collision with such asteroids would likely wipe out most life on Earth. For example, the asteroid impact 66 million years ago wiped out the dinosaurs and 75% of life on Earth. A similar impact would not only generate massive tsunamis, but also cause mass extinction events, drastically altering the global climate and landscape. Life on Earth likely originated from hydrothermal vents. These vents are where hot water from within the Earth shoots out through cracks. In these deep-sea regions, scientists have found many microorganisms, and they believe this may be where life first originated. However, without land, these vents would only exist at great depths, altering the way life evolves. For instance, current fish species migrate to shallower waters to spawn and feed. In a world without land, organisms would have to adapt to much deeper, more extreme environments. In a world without land, evolution would take a very different path. Lobe-finned fish, the ancestors of four-legged land animals today, would never have had the opportunity to crawl onto land and begin the evolutionary journey. Without land, there would be no lungs to breathe air, no legs to walk. As a result, terrestrial animals like amphibians, reptiles, birds, and mammals would never evolve, and humans would not exist. For example, about 375 million years ago, lobe-finned fish like Tiktaalik began crawling onto land, marking the transition from fish to land animals. Without land, Tiktaalik would never have taken this step, and all four-legged animals, including humans, would never have existed. This represents one of the biggest evolutionary consequences of a world completely covered by water. However, life in the ocean would continue to evolve. Photosynthetic organisms like cyanobacteria and algae would dominate the upper layers of the ocean where sunlight can penetrate. The phenomenon of deep-sea gigantism could create massive creatures like colossal squids or giant octopuses, creatures resembling the kraken from legends. Without land, the ocean currents and climate on the planet would be much more stable, unaffected by mountain ranges or highlands. For example, today we have deep-sea creatures like the dragonfish, which are significantly larger than their shallow water relatives. In a deep-water world, this phenomenon could become even more pronounced, leading to enormous and dangerous predators, possibly even giant creatures akin to the mythical kraken. An underwater civilization is entirely possible. This, though, it would look very different from what we imagine. Without land, there would be no access to metals or fuels, severely limiting technological advancement. However, aquatic creatures could harness energy from hydrothermal vents, similar to how humans exploit geothermal energy. They could also utilize energy from ocean waves, wind, sunlight, and ocean currents. For instance, an underwater civilization might develop biological technology using coral and shells to build underwater structures. They could create bioluminescent creatures to provide light in the deep sea or use genetically modified algae and organisms as sources of food or energy. Such civilizations could evolve techniques based on survival and evolution in the deep sea environment, vastly different from how humanity evolved on land. The ocean is a much more stable environment, and underwater civilizations could thrive without having to face catastrophic disasters like earthquakes or large-scale tsunamis. The exchange of knowledge and culture could be much easier due to the continuous connectivity of the oceans. Aquatic creatures could build cities from coral, shells, or even create bioluminescent creatures to replace light bulbs, or develop genetically modified organisms for transportation. So, what's new here? Let's suppose, in this water world, intelligent life evolved beyond just sea creatures. They wouldn't just build a society, but also have the ability to communicate with other species using a language based on ultrasound. These creatures might develop biotechnological tools, such as growing super nutritious algae, or engineering fish that generate energy from sunlight, or convert waste into useful resources. They could even develop bioengineered massive marine creatures for transportation, creating a world entirely in harmony with the ocean and its resources. Additionally, these civilizations might face significant challenges, such as the risk of depleting marine resources or the rise of giant predators, disrupting the ecological balance. Natural underwater disasters like deep-sea earthquakes, causing tsunamis, or shifts in ocean currents could also threaten these underwater societies, just like floods and natural disasters affect terrestrial civilizations. In other words, an underwater civilization could not only exist but thrive, thanks to unimaginable innovations drawn from their unique marine environment. What do you think of this scenario? Don't forget to share your thoughts below, and remember to subscribe to the channel to receive more fascinating knowledge. Until then, goodbye, and see you next time.